when we campaigned on fracking, when we campaigned on pipeline issues, we're talking about people's backyards. This is America. It's Republicans, it's Democrats, it's independents. This is not simply, you know, an issue for progressive people or even environmentalists, right? This is about America. We cannot have foreign oil companies destroying our natural resources, drilling in national parks, drilling in watersheds, creating a situation of havoc. The Yellowstone River was contaminated. The Kalamazoo River contaminated. Places that, you know, are sacred places in the United States for all Americans. And, you know, that I don't think that should be a partisan issue.
Right.
And I think certainly what we're seeing right now is that Trump pushed and also Obama pushed agenda of fracking across America, and these pipelines which support the fracking is being roundly protested against, and I think that's part of the reason why you have the People's Summit, you have Bernie Sanders come out against fracking, why it's so important and why it's so mainstream right now.
And so, people, so people understand, fracking is not friendly to the environment. It's not a bridge. It's not a bridge to the 21st century. It's not any of that stuff. It's a filthy bridge, right? Because of the methane and everything else, and the groundwater pollution. I mean, there's so many. I mean, and can be nuclear contamination from it. Correct? I mean,
well, the fracking wastewater is often radioactive.
Radioactive.
There was radioactivity found in Pennsylvania streams after we know that fracking water was dumped into those streams, and you know. The list of the things that can happen with fracking goes on and on and on, from obviously groundwater contamination, being able to light your water on fire, air pollution, people getting sick from just living near these fracking rigs because they're getting volatile organic compounds in their air, coming in their windows at night. If you live as far as a mile away, you can have effects. You can see birth defects and heart disease on the rise because of fracking. And to say nothing of the contamination of our political system due to fracking, right? That is a whole nother level, right? Because they're high pressure injecting cash into the Congress and into the Democratic Party. And this is what we saw. Hillary Clinton, the day after the Platform Committee, which we were on.
Well, let's explain that. So the Platform Committee, we were trying to ban fracking, and Hillary Clinton, no joke, who was her representative?
A fracking lobbyist.
A fracking lobbyist.
Is Trevor Hauser.
And that's not us trying to not say the other word.
Actually,
it's
the entire Hillary Clinton
lobbyist.
team, the entire Clinton team were fracking lobbyists, including Carol Browner. Carol Browner, who works for League of Conservation Voters.
Former EPA.
Former EPA under the Clintons. Pro-fracking. Pro-fracking. How can you be an environmentalist and be pro-fracking? Well, I don't know, maybe you think we're going to repopulate some other planet like Mars or Pluto and treat that planet with some kind of respect. But we have this one right here, right now. So we don't want to contaminate our waters and streams and underground sources of drinking water and harm our children's future. So, you know, like, obviously this is a place, here at the People's Summit, one of the basic issues that we fought for on the Platform Committee was to say, Democrats, you're going to give away 2 or 3 crucial percentage points in PA, in North Carolina, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Florida, in Colorado. In Pennsylvania.
Huge.
I'm sorry. Do you think you're going to? I got up in front of that Platform Committee a year ago, right now, and I said, you are not going to win this election if you don't vote to ban fracking, because there are people who will stay home. There will people who will go vote for Jill Stein because of fracking, because they cannot stomach voting to frack themselves, right?
That what happened was they stayed home. They stayed home.
And unfortunately, as much as we didn't want them, as much I went out and said, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. When you have Hillary Clinton, the day after those platform hearings, go into a $650,000 fundraiser with Cheniere Energy, the #1 fracking export company in America, we got the message. Oh, okay, you don't want our help, right? So these are the things that contributed, the death of 1,000 cuts.
So you told them, literally told them,
literally,
if you don't ban fracking, you're going to lose in these states.
I got up and gave a speech about it.
And the Daily Beast did this whole article on all the Bernie team that kept meeting with the Clinton team, and the Clinton team kept blowing us off. So the Daily Beast wrote this entire piece on they weren't listening to the Bernie people. You'd think that the Clintons would say, wow, maybe we should listen to the people that had no money in the beginning. We're able to excite an entire group of voters that's never really been in. Don't we want some of their help to win? No, we're too arrogant.
I mean, I'm sorry, it was very upsetting, but you're sitting here trying to help. You're trying to help. You're saying, this will get you crucial votes in these crucial states. Go and look up the speech. The phone calls.
But that does not get them crucial corporate cash.
They wanted to, well, clearly.
They could have done both. They could have done both. I mean, at that point,
I agree they
No,
could have done both.
I mean, yeah, you're right, though. What we're seeing is the selling out of the American people and the selling out of our political system.
Yeah, the
and
influence
the
that
oil
I'm-
and gas industry and the banking industry are at the top of that list.
So the influence I'm worried about isn't a foreign influence on our electorate or our government, right?
Thank you.
The influence I'm worried about is the influence we know about right now, the influence of corporate cash that's being injected.
I want to know, what do you think? Is the Russian influence on our election greater than the influence of ExxonMobil?
No.
Of Monsanto?
done.
No.
Already
Who's
done.
running the State Department?
Right now.
Is it greater than Goldman Sachs?
Right.
Right.
I mean, tell me the truth. Because maybe there's a hell of a lot of Russian influence out there, but I know what ExxonMobil is doing in our election. I know what BP is doing in our election. I know what Chesapeake and the fracking companies are doing in our election.
And frankly, they're related. I mean, like, we
Yes,
can't
of course
dispel.
they're
I mean,
related.
half of New York City's real estate is being bought up as being. It's a capitalist. It's a
Well,
deal. It's a deal. Like, Russia is investing in our country with our capitalist cohorts. It's a deal. So when the corporate Democratic Party is bashing the
right.
Russians, it's like, you're doing deals with the Russians.
Rex
You
Tillerson
set the
is in
deal.
Russia right now
Yes.
with Vladimir Putin devising how to frack the Arctic.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, go investigate ExxonMobil's ties to Russia, and
That's it.
then you will get the answer.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip of Aggressive Progressive, why not become a member of the TYT network and you can watch the whole hour. You know, we do a show every Thursday and then you can watch it live when it happens as a member, or you can watch it later at your convenience because you get access to the podcast of Aggressive Progressive and other ways to get a hold of it. There's lots of stuff. Come become a member at tytnetwork.com/join.